I think one of the most important aspects of integration of self and of parts is to acknowledge and not ignore the shame and guilt within in order to go after and do the things that you want to do, even with the fear, even with the shame. Those of us with BPD and other similar disorders need to try to stop shaming ourselves for not being able to fix certain things of how we are, thought patterns, and certain compulsive behaviors that are genuinely so hardwired into our brain. We are wired differently, and we have science and brain scans and all of this to back it up. And even with getting help, we're still wired differently. We still have innate reactions and innate compulsions, and we definitely can't compare ourselves to others and what works for them. It takes many coping mechanisms, various approaches, various healing modalities, medication, tools, and methods of functioning, in addition to therapy, if not multiple types of therapy, if you can and you're able to, consistently to manage this disorder. And I think when you understand truly the amount of work it takes to even be functioning and not let our BPD brain rule us, as Dr. Fox likes to say. Check him out on YouTube. He has great content. I bought his book too. I feel like this understanding of personal effort for the sake of your well-being truly brings to surface a new level of grace and self-compassion as well. And acknowledging that the fear and shame we're dealing with is often much more deep-rooted and complex. When certain attempts or efforts at things don't work or are perceived by you as not working or fixing things that seemingly work so well for many others, it can reinforce that feeling that something is wrong with us and we're bad and broken. Just because whatever thing didn't work does not mean you're broken or bad. It just requires a different approach sometimes, or multiple different ones, but there's always a solution. And understanding how we operate and why, because sometimes what we're afraid of is ourselves. And fear is always cozied up right beside shame. When we don't address our shame, we become and stay fearful instead of becoming fearless. If you have the urge and desire to try something new, do something new, out of your comfort zone, but you're unsure if you should because in the past when you've tried, it hasn't worked or fixed things. Somewhere deep down inside, there's a deep inner voice of knowing telling you you should. Don't silence that inner voice. That's the wrong voice to silence. If that feeling of shame is awake in you, still try anyway. You are worth the effort. Those feelings of shame, no matter how much you run, will always chase you and catch up to you. Don't let them make you run anymore. Don't let shame win. Those voices of shame instilled in you from a young age, you need to start saying no to. Those are the voices you need to silence. As the thought comes, you're bad, you look ugly, you're not qualified, whatever the thought may be, you combat it immediately and you say no. Scream it even out loud, more like when you're by yourself. I constantly still struggle with very intense internal shame, but I still try. I still go after things, even when that shame and fear is very much alive in me. One foot in front of the other. Every day can be tough sometimes, but still try. Sometimes it's just a different approach and a different perspective. It never has to be a leap. Just think footstep after footstep. And I want to leave you with a quote that has meaning to me. No one is you, and that is your power.